So hi everyone, this is Kindle Education Solutions presenting a class of essays. As we all know, essays are a very important part of the UPSC mains examination for different reasons. We'll discuss all that. So here in this class, we'll be discussing how to write an essay to score maximum marks in the UPSC mains examination. So we'll be discussing about how to write an essay, what are the important components that are required in an essay, what not to do with an essay, how to not write an essay, and all these aspects of essay writing we'll discuss here. So by the end of this session, we expect that the students, whoever is attending, will get a thorough idea of how to productively write a very good essay. So when the essay is concerned, we know that, essay, like every other GS paper in the UPSC mains examination, essay also comes in 250 marks. You are supposed to write 2 essays in the 250, 2 essays, each one carrying 125 marks each. Essay is highly rewarding because usually what people scores in GS 1 to 4 ranges between 80 to 110. Anything which is beyond 110 is regarded as excellent in a GS paper. This is not the case with an essay. In an essay, people even score up to 180 marks. The UPSC topper in 2021, he scored 134 marks in the essay. So since every paper is of 250 marks and you are scoring exceptionally well in the essay, you can very well understand how much impact it will have on your final marks, or how deciding it will be to determine whether you are qualified for the interview and what will be your position in the rank list. All these aspects are decided to a large extent by the essay. So another advantage of the essay paper is that you don't need an exclusive preparation for the essay. This is because you are learning a lot of facts and figures and a lot of information and concepts for GS 1 to 4. Whatever you are learning in these 4 papers can very well be used to your advantage in the essay. And if you are good in the ethics, you have an added advantage with the essay these days, because UPSC is asking either both the essay questions from the philosophical topic, or at least one question from the philosophical topic. So this is why I've included the point like this, that no special preparation is required when it comes to the essay. Now we'll go and check what to do with the essay and how to plan the essay and all these things. Now, when we say that an exclusive preparation is not needed for an essay, it doesn't mean that you should not prepare for an essay. There is nothing like that. Because if you learn GS 1 to 4 topics really well, and if you go to write an essay, you may still be facing a lot of problems in the essay hall. This is because you should understand and know what an essay demands and how to plan and write an essay and complete an essay in the 3 hours. Complete 2 essays in 3 hours. For that, a prior planning is actually required. So we'll understand the time divisions and all these for the essay. This is why this section is what I call planning of an essay. So we have 3 hours, like every other GS paper, we have 3 hours, and we have to write 2 essays in the 3 hours. That means for an essay, we'll be getting 1 hour and 30 minutes. So this 1 hour and 30 minutes, we'll not just start the essay right away. We'll not right away start writing an essay, but we'll plan an essay. because unlike a GS answer that only require you to produce content in 1 or 2 pages, an essay demands you to produce content for 12 pages. That means exhaustive planning has to be done before starting to write an essay. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in between and you'll not be able to understand how to move forward or whether you have moved away from the topic. All these problems can occur. So to avoid all these issues, then essay has to be planned beforehand. So as I said, you will not spend the 1.5 hours right away in writing an essay, but the initial, at least initial 10 to 15 minutes, you will be able to, or you will utilize for brainstorming for the essay. Now, what do I mean by the brainstorming for the essay? I'll discuss in the next slide. So effectively, what time that you are getting for writing an essay is 1 hour and 15 minutes. This is the distribution of time division when it comes to an essay. So in the next slide, we're going to understand how to brainstorm for an essay. Now, this is also very important because, as I said earlier, without brainstorming for the essay, you'll be stuck in between and you will not be able to move forward. So usually what happens in an essay paper is that unlike a GS question, which can usually be divided into multiple parts, an essay question can simply be a statement, a smaller statement or a bigger statement according to what UPSC decides for you every year. Even a statement, in some years they have given statements like very short statements. The length of such statements are only like 4 or 5 words, and you have to write an essay on those topics. So the primary understanding when it comes to the essay should be that whatever is given, you have to understand whatever is given and try to expand the given topic in multiple dimensions. That means you will be taking the statement as a whole and expand the core idea of the statement in different directions. This is different from writing a GS answer because in GS answer, you may be able to split the question into multiple parts and address each part separately. Let's say, for example, there is a question on waste management in India in a GS paper. So what you will write, probably you will start the answer by writing what do you mean by the waste management. Then you will probably write about the issues faced in the waste management in India. Then you probably will write about the government schemes that are dealing with the waste management in India, where you will write things like Swachh Bharat Abhiyan and all. And then probably you will write a conclusion. So based on this question, you are able to split the question into different aspects and answer accordingly. Now, this is not the case with an essay. If an essay is given or a statement is given, take the statement as a whole and try to come up with an essay. Let's say, for example, hard work and perseverance. Let's say they have given a statement called hard work and perseverance are the mantra to success, or are the right paths to success. So there is no scope for dividing this into multiple parts. Take the statement as a whole, understand the meaning of the statement, and then elaborate the statement in multiple dimensions. So the dimensions is very important because, as I said earlier, you are supposed to write an essay on 12 pages. So the more the number of dimensions that you have, the more productive and the more lengthy your essay will be. Now, second thing is that, since you are producing a content which is of 1500 to 2000 words, it would be really hard for the examiner to read the whole content if you don't maintain a proper flow in the essay. Now, What I mean by the proper flow of an essay is that there has to be a connection between different paragraphs in the essay. Like sometimes we equate the flow of an essay to a smoothly flowing river rather than a bumpy roads. If you are traveling in a bumpy roads and if your essay looks like traveling in a bumpy roads, the examiner would definitely be not interested and impressed with it. But try to establish the connection between different paragraphs and move accordingly, so that your essay has been producing a smooth transition of ideas from the beginning to the end. So that is what the second thing that you have to understand while brainstorming for an essay. Arrange, when you're brainstorming for the essay, you probably will note down the points that you want to incorporate in the essay somewhere. So try to also look into the aspect that if I write the points like this, will I be able to establish the connection with the previous paragraph and the next paragraph, etc. The third thing is that right away, probably the most important part that the examiner would focus on your essay is the beginning of the essay and probably the end of the essay. Usually it's a human character that, people tend to be very lazy when they try to read the whole 12 pages of stuff that somebody has written. So instead they will read here and there, and definitely they'll read your beginning. So it's really important that whenever you are writing an essay, you have to come up with a very dynamic and very impressive beginning. Let's say, for example, I've told you about an essay topic, about hard work and perseverance are the right path to success. This is what, let's suppose that this is the essay topic that is given to you. Now, how will you write an introduction for this? I can only give you a sample introduction for this topic, but then you should be able to come up with a lot of introductions or in the same context. So the idea here is the perseverance and hard work. Why don't we start this essay with the story of writing the Wright brothers, who has discovered the flying objects or airplanes back in the 1905. There has been a lot of, we probably have read a lot of stories about their hard work behind producing the successfully flying airplane in 1905. So this is a possible example of depicting the hard work. Secondly, we can also write about the Chandrayaan mission of ISRO, or any other mission of ISRO for that matter. The Chandrayaan-2, which has actually incorporated a rover, was not very successful, but then we know that in the next couple of years they would definitely find success in landing it properly on the surface of the moon. So this can be another example. Likewise, if you understand the meaning of the essay, you'll definitely be able to come up with a very dynamic and catchy beginning or an introduction for the essay as such. And the next point is that, in an essay, you have to incorporate a lot of, not a lot of, but whenever the essay demands so, based on the context, include a lot of common life experiences and quotes from the important persons, quotes from Gandhi or quotes from any relevant contemporary personality, etc. Let's say, for example, if there is an essay on, if they have asked an essay on journalism, you will be better placed to incorporate a quote by Ravish Kumar, because he has won the Max's award last year. So likewise, try to come up with important quotes or real life experience of people based on the context of the essay. So this is all about brainstorming for an essay. Now we'll have to move ahead with the other aspects of writing an essay. The next aspect of writing an essay would be what should not be there in the essay. So probably while reading about what should be there in an essay, or brainstorming for an essay, you have understood what should be there in the essay. Now we'll have to understand what should not be there in the essay as well. Now you're very clear about the fact that essays are actually different from writing the GS answer. So the first point that has to be remembered is to avoid incorporating a lot of static figures, constitutional articles, government schemes, etc. in the essay. That doesn't mean that you should not incorporate these things, but incorporate these things in a minimal manner whenever the context of the essay demands so. So the point here is the point what I want to make here is that whenever you are writing an essay, approach the essay with an analytical bent of mind rather than incorporating a lot of static facts and figures in the essay. Second thing is that whenever even when you want to diversify the essay, as I said, move ahead in multiple dimensions and incorporate as many dimensions as possible in an essay. You don't have to go off topic in an essay. Sometimes what happens is that when you are writing in the essay, when you are in the middle of writing an essay, after 4 or 5 pages, you suddenly recognize that you have moved away from the essay topic and you are writing something else. Now, if you are in the second or third page, it would be easy for you to come back to the topic. But if you are in the 6th or 7th page, it's literally difficult for you to come back to the original topic, whatever you have. So always keep in mind what you are going to write in the essay or what you are writing the essay. So from that perspective also, planning for an essay or brainstorming for an essay is a very important aspect of writing the essay. Other point is that, as I discussed earlier, your essay should be like a smooth flowing river, and it should not be like the bumpy roads. This is the same idea. Do not jumble between ideas and destroy the flow of the essay. Always maintain the flow of the essay. Now, these are the aspects that has to be kept in mind as far as what not to do with an essay is concerned. Now, we have to check with an example as to how we will be writing an essay. Here, I'll be depicting through this example as to how you are going to brainstorm with this essay. What all things are probably are worth enough to be incorporated into the essay, and all these aspects we'll discuss with this example. This is a question that is asked in the UPSC Mains Examination 2018. So this was a real question asked by the UPSC. Now we'll try to write an essay on this topic. This question is asking about alternative technologies for a climate change resilient India. So the core idea of the question is amply clear from the question. It is asking about alternative technologies as far as the climate change is concerned. Now, when we are anywhere, some people, when they start writing an essay, they get the idea that the essay is about climate change or alternative technologies and climate change and all that. Start by defining climate change or alternative technologies, etc., etc. Now, as I said earlier, this would not fetch you much marks because you are not supposed to start an essay with a static definition or or things like that, like how you do when it comes to an GS answer. As I said earlier, your essay's introduction has to be very dynamic and catchy. So how will I start with this essay, or how will a person who understand the the nature of essay or the requirement of an essay, how will he start the essay? I'll give you an example. See, I'll start with this essay with a real life example. I will probably start with a real life example of alternative technologies aiding India in fighting the climate change. Now I'll search for different examples of any example of alternative technology that had been used in India for addressing the climate change. I'll probably come across quite a few of them. What comes to my mind all of a sudden is an initiative taken up by this Wangchuk. You probably know about this Sonam Wangchuk, the engineer that is depicted in the movie Three Idiots. Now, this guy has come up with something called a mission Pani to address the problem of the water crisis in his homeland, that is Ladakh. What he actually does there was to build artificial glaciers during the winter by collecting the water that is coming in the winters. So, and solve the water scarcity of Ladakh. This is what is Mission Pani. This is a really accurate and apt example to start this essay with. If you know any other climate resilient technology or alternative engineering or alternative technology that had been used in India to fight the climate change, you probably can incorporate this topic. So dramatically start this essay by talking about the Sonam Wangchuk's initiative of Mission Pani in Ladakh. This is just an example. You can probably speak about any number of examples or come up with any other alternative example or something. So from in the next topic, this is my first paragraph. Now this is my first paragraph, a small paragraph, 4 or 5 lines only, or for 5 or 6 lines. So in the next paragraph, second paragraph, I will depict or I will write about my understanding of the topic or what I understood from the topic. Here, I'll probably speak about the climate change and probably the climate changes that is happening these days is anthropogenic climate change. Anthropogenic climate change and probably the factors responsible for anthropogenic climate change and all these, how we can probably address this anthropogenic climate change with alternative technologies. I'll just mention that, alternative technologies are really important to fight the climate change, anthropogenic climate change. That is my second paragraph. So I have started with a very dramatic introduction and I've established the topic. In the third paragraph, I will write a small paragraph to give a clear idea to the evaluator as to how I'll be progressing or what I'll be writing in this essay. So here I'll speak that, so I'll start by writing this paragraph like this. So here in this essay, I will start with, I am going to mention about different alternative technologies that are being used in the climate change. I will describe the advantages and disadvantages of these technologies and how we can probably use these technologies to create a climate resilient India. And then I'll finally conclude, like how my essay will flow. I'll give an idea about that. And from the fourth paragraph onwards, I am entering the core essay topic, that is alternative technologies. From here onwards, I'll be depicting the alternative technologies when it comes to the climate change. So this can be done in a multitude of ways. So the alternative technologies can be denoted through a multitude of ways. So probably to better arrange these ideas in an essay, I can adopt a sector-wise strategy. Now, what do I mean by a sector-wise strategy is that, let's say I'll start with agriculture, and I'll start with agriculture. In whatever technologies, alternative solution that I have in agriculture, I'll depict all of them. Let's say, for example, I'll speak about zero budget natural farming, or probably I'll speak about precision agriculture. All these aspects I can speak about. Then probably I'll move on to transportation sector. In transportation, I'll speak about a lot of new technologies like, probably I'll speak about Hyperloop technology, or I'll speak about the electric vehicles and many other technologies like that, like for example, public transportation systems like metro. All these things I'll speak about. Now, whenever I'm discussing this topic, I can discuss these topics, and there are two methods. It is better for me when I discuss, let's say, if I start the essay, if I start writing about transportation technologies, I mentioned in a small paragraph about something called Hyperloop. I mentioned about the Tesla's initiative of coming up with some Hyperloops and all that. And I can also, in the next paragraph, I can depict the advantages and disadvantages of the technology there itself. So that technology is a whole aspect I have mentioned there itself, and I'm moving on to a different technology. Likewise, I can move. Otherwise, one can adopt a method of writing the advantages first and then come writing the disadvantages at the second part of the essay. But you won't get that continuity that is demanded by the essay if you go for that approach. So I would suggest that you write about the technology, and then in a small paragraph, you write also about the advantages and disadvantages of the technology. Now, another thing is that I'll probably speak about the industry. When I speak about the industry, I can speak about the greenhouse gas emissions, how to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and all that. So another sector, what I will speak about is the energy sector. So I'll speak about the renewable energy and all. In the renewable energy, I'll speak about solar technology and wind technology, hydroelectric technology. All these aspects I'll discuss. Whenever I'm dealing with the solar technology, I'll mention the advantages of it. I'll mention that, India is a very solar energy rich country. So we'll be better placed to, exploit the benefits of solar technology. But as the disadvantages, I'll also mention that we are import dependent as far as the solar technology is concerned. I'll also probably speak about International Solar Alliance that India has started. All these aspects, advantages, disadvantages, some initiatives, all these I'll speak about. Similarly, about wind energy systems, I'll speak about what are the negatives. Positives, obviously, positives are obvious. When it comes to negative aspects of the wind energy, I'll speak about bird killing associated with the wind energy and all these things. Hydroelectric power, how they'll be that require hydroelectric projects require massive structures that will probably make our landscape a lot more prone to earthquake and things like that. Similarly, in the initial a few minutes of the class, we have discussed how we have to broaden the essay topic into multiple dimensions. Now, as you can see, how I am elaborating this topic into multiple dimensions, and again, in every dimension, I'm coming up with different aspects. And again, I can speak of different aspects like increasing the carbon sink. I can speak about the bioremediation technology, biospending, biosparging, all these I can speak about. And then I can speak about the climate engineering technologies and a lot more. And likewise, now this itself is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 7 aspects we have already covered with positives and negatives. Then we can again come back to where we have started, the importance of alternative technologies, and we have to in the initial page we have to reach a conclusion, or we have to write about how we have to incorporate the benefits of these technologies while we have to be mindful of the disadvantages of this technology also. Now, this is how you come up with or write an essay on a scientific topic or a topic which is somewhat closer to what do you study in the GS3. This is how you write an essay on it. So in between, as I said, you can incorporate a lot of quotes and things like that. Whatever quotes you find relevant as far as the climate change aspect is concerned, you can incorporate all these quotes. Now, everywhere, whenever the climate change aspect is concerned, people use a Gandhi's quote. We have everything for our need, but not for our greed. That's a very important quote. You can put it, somewhere in the essay. Now, this is how you conclude the essay. So before winding up the class, I'll try to give a very quick, summary of whatever we have learned in this class. Let's say we have initially in the initial part of the class, we started talking about the importance of writing an essay, why to focus on the essay, and what are the things that we need to understand before planning for an essay, and how to do the brainstorming for an essay, and what are the things that should not be there in the essay. All these aspects we have covered. So hopefully this have given you, I hope that this class had given you a comprehensive understanding of how to approach an essay in the UPSC mains examination. Thank you.